Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Today I'm running some T5 Abyss and I'm trying to earn some dank ISK. So this first wave here is a Leshak wave, should be super damn easy. They have so little HP, so it's really easy to kill them. Just get close so that I can, because the blinding ones are what I want to go for first. Look, can you see they're blinding me? I was a bit too slow there. But my drones are auto-aggressing, so that's nice. The thing is, you want to take out the blinding ones first, because they just make so you can't lock anything. So cancer. They do quite a lot of DPS as well, so you have to be careful for that. Please destroy this. Let me just get out of range with them. Should be quite easy. So what I wanted to discuss today is, like in EVE Online, is there a best ship? Because I saw a comment about this on my What is EVE video about if there's a best ship in EVE Online, and actually. I mentioned that the Avatar was the best ship in EVE Online, and actually, I didn't actually mean that. I meant more like the most epic ship in EVE Online, or like the one of the most expensive ones. There are more expensive ships in the Avatar, but it's basically the most expensive normal ship. You got these 80 special edition ships that are a lot more expensive than the Avatar. But what I wanted to discuss was if there actually is a best ship in EVE Online, and the thing is, in EVE, there's so many things you can do. We want to recall our drones because they're taking lots of damage. Actually, we want to get missiles on these drones here. Now get our drones out again. Go back in there. Kill the tangling ones because we want to. Oh, there's only tangling ones left. Kill spark needles because spark needles do EM damage, and we've got increased EM resistance in the electrical storm abyss. But in EVE Online, there are so many things you can do. You can do that. You can find relic sites, hack cans. You can mine. You can do incursions. You can do abyss like I'm doing now. There are many different types of abyss types you can do. For example, I'm doing electrical ones. There's also different types of electrical ones. For example, I'm doing T5 electric ones. There's exotic ones, there's dark ones, there's like so many different ones, and for each of these types there is pretty much a best ship or a very optimal ship at least, because there's some that perform equally. And what I'm trying to say is there's not really any best ship in EVE Online. There's often best ships to do a certain activity in EVE Online. There's no best one ship fits all. Like for example, this T5 Gila is pretty good in the T5 electrics because it gets a capacitor boost, enabling it, which is one of the weaknesses of the Gila, that it doesn't have good capacitor, but it has crazy tank. So you're able to fuel your you're able to fuel your tank a lot easier in the electrical sites, and it does a lot of DPS, so it's really good at chewing through them. So it's at least one of the best ships to do T5 electrics. But there are other activities that Agila is really bad at. For example, mining. Agila can't mine. Agila is really crap at mining. So there's obviously not a good ship for that. There are also other activities in EVE Online, such PvE activities such as incursions. The Gila does not have enough tank to be able to do incursions, let alone the DPS. But the thing is, incursion ships that are really good at running incursions, for example, Vindicators, cannot do Abyss because only cruisers are enabled in the Abyss. So there's it's hard to say if there's a best ship in EVE. It's just that there are better ships at doing certain activities. Another good example is exploration in high sec. You can find these combat signatures and you can kill some pirates and get loot. And there's certain types of and these are called DED sites. And there's certain type of DED sites permit certain ships. For example, I believe that DED 4s or DED3s do not allow any ship bigger than a battleship. So there's certain ship sizes as well. So obviously you would have a cruiser as the best ship for that, not a battleship, for example, because battleships obviously do pump out a lot of DPS. Same thing for L4 missions. I mean, Gila is pretty good for L4 missions. You can do it, but the thing is, a battleship has much more tank, and there's also a lot more DPS in a battleship. They're obviously slower, but when running L4 missions, you'll be always better in some type of battleship. I like using the Rattlesnake, as you guys saw in our previous video, but Imperial is also one of the best ships at doing it. Now, we want to kill all these cruisers first in the Charybdis Tyrannus rooms, because I want to get all the E war off me, since I can face tank Charybdis Tyrannus, but if I have the cruisers attacking me at the same time, it's going to be a bit hard to face tank them. In fact, I don't even think I can. I think I can just about, maybe with a bit of overheat, but the E-War also slows me down if they are to, if the E-War, for example, webs me or anchors me with the warp scrambler. But the thing is, and also when it comes to the Abyss, then specifically what I'm doing. So the Gila is really good at doing T5 electrics, as I told you before. But then they're also T4 electrics. They're also T3 electrics. They're lower tiers, and honestly, some ships would even be better in the lower tiers than the Gila, or at least a certain fit of the Gila. For example, I'm running a quite bling fit right now, and a bling fit Gila is obviously what you want to have in the T5s, because then that's how you can survive and do a lot of damage. But if you're running lower tiers, then you have to factor in the risk of getting ganked. If you do get ganked and you're running lower tiers in a blinged out Gila, you would also your return of investment, or like if you factor in the risk of getting ganked with how much you earn from the lower tier filaments, because it's obviously a lot less than T5s, then in the end it would be a lot better to actually run a cheaper ship in the lower tiers than to actually run a blinged out ship, because if you, there may be, like, say 0.1% chance that you get ganked, you lose a few billion, and for the little amount you and if you risk factor that into the little amount you earn from the lower tiers, then it probably in the long run will not be worth it. In T5s, it can be worth to take the risk of getting ganked in expensive Gilas, because you earn so damn much from the T5s. So in the long run, you will still earn quite a bit of cash, even if you do get ganked. Now, last room here. It's something you have to like think about a lot. I mean, even when I say there's a best ship in Eve, there's not even a best ship in Eve, let alone a best fit. Like, there's fits for specific things. If I'm doing exploration, I'll probably having more longer range ships, since in exploration sites, ships tend to spawn in at different ranges. So it's good to be able to reach out really far. A Gila is good for that because of drone control range, but you can sometimes be better off in like an artillery fit. For example, Munin, or maybe it was the heck called the broadsword, because they have such a large range. And the good thing about turrets is that they instantly apply DPS. Now we want to take out these plate forges first, because we want to take out the logistics. Logistics is important to take out initially, because you do not want them to remote rep other things, effectively reducing your applied DPS. But there's not even a best ship in Eve, let alone a best fit. So it all depends on what you want to use it for. And even if there is a fit that can do something, you have to also factor in the risks. Risks are important to take account in Eve, as I told you in the previous video. Go over the extraction nodes. Extraction nodes are really a good source of extra cash. I mean, before in the Abyss, they used to have just the bioadaptive caches, and then prices started to go down of the items you get from bioadaptive caches. So they added these extraction nodes to get you a bit of extra loot, and that was really nice because it really increases your income a lot. I don't know by what factor it increases your loot. And I want to go for the plate forges, and I just unlocked them. I think I've got, yeah, these. No, I don't have anything strange. I should have gone for these. Oh, I'll go with my missiles on, actually. But it used to be a lot, like a lot different in the Abyss, in that you never had to worry about these extraction ones. I like using the MWE to get to them. And there's an example of a fit alteration I had to do, because I mean, with an AB, I could use an MTU, but and I know that it's very popular to use an AB and an MTU, but in my experience, I'm always faster using the MWD flying to cans. I see many people saying that the MWDs are a lot worse for in terms of time if you fly to each can, but it seems to be a lot faster for me, actually. Perhaps it's a piloting thing where you need a certain good piloting with the MTU and AB setup. And then in Eve, like, there's, I said before that the Gila is like, obviously you can't mine. There's 100 more things you can do. For example, PvP. There's obviously ships that are better for PvP, PvE, and vice versa. And there's also different fits you can use for PvP and PvE. So say you would, for example, use a Gila that is fit for PvE. It would obviously not do as good in a PvP setting. Like so stuff you would have in a PvP setting would be warp scramblers to disable enemy warp micro warp drives. I want to go for these plate forges, webifiers, neutralizers, these kind of things that are important when fighting other players, because in a PvE setting I don't really need to use a warp scrambler. Like there's no reason I would need to disable someone's an enemy ship's micro warp drives. I just need, because I apply so well in a PvP setting, you want to hold the enemy down to be able to kill them because they can warp off, and also perhaps they're using a micro warp drive and kiting you really hard, so that's also how MWD can be important. Rarely you are able to cap out an enemy NPC, while in a PvP setting you're often like in a 1v1 kind of environment, so it'll be a lot better to have a neutralizer here. I would hardly have any use of a neutralizer when fighting these NPCs. So let's see now, how much is the total haul? So 80 million or 78 million, that's good. And this Vedmak blueprint is probably worth about I think like 10 million or something like that. So about 85 something million minus the filament cost, which is about 18 million. So about 72 million, 75 million I would say, maybe, depending on the Vedmak's price. Overall, pretty decent for something you could do in about 12 minutes. And this is why I love to do T5 Abyss. It's a really profitable activity, and also I have to pay somewhat attention instead of grinding anomalies and nullsec, which requires basically no attention at all. You just AFK on blast things away. I mean, you can also do that in the Abyss, but you need to have somewhat an idea of piloting. Like the Charybdis Tyrannus does a lot of damage sometimes. Anyway, that's it for this video. That's me discussing if there's a best ship in Evil Line and why there's no best ship in Evil Line and there's no best fit in Evil Line, and how there are so many different things you can do in Evil Line which decides what is the best ship for that particular activity. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Have a good one.